Thank you so very much for joining again on the session on HR analytics. Uh, Thank you, Shamlal sir, for your warm welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, today our emphasis again on the HR analytics will be again to make you understand what are the various things which are important into the tools component and what are the careers projection that we have. So, before I initiated, as some of you would be new to this session and some of you would know me. Yes, I have got good 20 years of experience and I have worked with the blue chip organizations like ICICI Bank, Honeywell, Moody's, ICL. And my experience actually lies into the behavioral science, into the L&D domain, as well as into the quality front. With this, yes, I have bagged various awards thanks to ISTD because, they actually give an opportunity to the youngsters like you all and the people who come from the various research element. And I would appreciate that if you can actually start doing and publishing it, it will be really enhancing. So if you really wish to do this course, as I represent Prism Trainings and Consultancy. So Prism is actually a good decade-old organization and purely focuses into the soft skills and behavioral and the quality workshops. So we actually have this course available for all the students and professionals into the data analytics. And a lot of, in the past, people have got benefited out of this course. And if you want to reach out to me, yes, you can follow our Prisma Philosophy hashtag. And in social media, we are with @Prisma Philosophy. And if you want to reach out to me, definitely my hashtag is Anubha Walia. And yes, my social media account is @Anubha Walia. So I'm there into the various platforms, whether you name it, Facebook, Insta, so, Tumblr, Dig. So I'm a lot into blogging and a lot of insight I give it to the youngsters who keep, sharing the thoughts and make them learn with a different perspective. So yes, we will be having some chat box activity. In the polls will be done in the future, but as of now, I don't have poll in this particular session. But yes, a lot of activity driven to give you an insight, and definitely would request to put yourself in a mute mode. Okay, so as you know that in the first session, we have focused on the overview of HR. We understood the concept of HR, people and the data with the workforce element. We also understood the benefits of HR analytics and we understood the history of analytics, that how it started, the inception of it, and what is the current importance as well as the real importance to the corporate world, and what are the various challenges. Now in the today's session, we will go further more enhancement into the topic, which is purely into the tools, the careers of HR analytics, and what are the analytics domain that we have. So I again welcome you all. I can see a good amount of participation today. Okay, so as I'm going to start with the tools, there are various tools which are actually available on the social platform. We know that the growing demand and the importance of data analytics in the market have generated many openings worldwide. It becomes slightly tough to shortlist the top, analytics tools. So there are various open tools which are more popular and user friendly. In fact, having a very strong performance oriented. And you will also find there are certain paid versions also of these tools. There are many open source tools which are, which doesn't require the much of coding and it manages to deliver the results than the paid version. So there are a lot of tools which you can see on the screen. I've just highlighted for all of you. So we have to focus on the three elements here. One is the popularity element, second one is the learning element, and the third one is the performance element. So you can see, I will go a deep dive into the top 7 of them in detail in the session. But over here on the screen, you can see the R, which is actually a leading analytics tool in the industry. and it is widely used for the statistics and data modeling. It can actually easily manipulate your data and present in a different ways. You will find that it access SAS in many ways, like the capacity of data, performance, and the outcome. So R complies and runs on a wide variety of platform, which could be Unix, Windows, Mac, and it has more than 11,000 packages to them, and you can browse these packages into the categories, and it also provides automatically how to install them. We also have Tableau, you can see. So Tableau Public is a free software that connects any data source to be in a corporate data warehouse, Microsoft Excel, or a web-based data, which we all use it in a corporate environment. And what it does is it's create the data visualization, maps, dashboard, and makes it a real-time updates presented into the web or into your system. So I would request someone's noise is coming. If you can put yourself into the, you know, mute mode, please. Yeah, thank you so very much. So, for the connectivity issue, what I will do is I will put my video off and let's get rolling with this. Thank you. So now let's also, as I was mentioning about the Tableau, it also allows the access to download the file in different formats. If you want to see the power of Tableau, then you must have a very good data source. If the data source is not there, trust me, you won't be able to see it in a pictorial manner. So it has a capabilities which can make important and use of data, which can actually analyze and visualize the data in a much better manner. So another element where top left is Python icon, which you can see here. It is nothing but an object oriented scripting language, which is easy to read, write, and maintain. And it is again, ladies and gentlemen, free open source tool. It was developed by GV Rossum. It was done in the late 80s with the support of both functional and a structural programming methods. Uh, Python is actually is easy to learn, and it is very similar to JavaScript or a Ruby and a PHP. Another important feature of Python is that it can be, assembled on any platform. You name it, like SQL Server or a MongoDB database or JSON. So, the Python is really easy to handle the data text very well. We also have SAS. It is nothing but a programming environment and a language for data manipulation and a leader in analytics. Let me be very candid here, because it is developed by the SAS Institute in somewhere in 1966, and then further it got enhanced in 90s. So it's easily accessible, manageable, and you can actually analyze the data from the various sources. So data actually, you will find get used in a very strong manner. And because of the customer intelligence and numerous modules which SAS provides for the web, social media, marketing analytics, you can use it actually into the profiling of customers and the prospects. So this actually helps you to predict the behavior, it manages the thoughts, and it optimizes the communication of the customers. There is another one which is Spark, which is built on the data science, and its concept makes data science effortless, actually. Very popular for data pipeline and machine learning models development. Mostly it's been seen, as per my experience, it includes a library, which provides a progressive set of machine algorithms, and where the repetitive data science techniques like classification, regression, collaborative filtering, and clustering, etc. happens. I would not shy away to share about the Excel, because this is basics, ladies and gentlemen, and very popular and very widely used tool, which has been used by, in fact, all of us, I would say, and specifically in industries. Whether you are an expert in SAS or R or Tableau, you will still need to use Excel, and that's what I have been using it. Although I am a data scientist and I use SPSS very strongly, which I'm going to touch upon in the session, but because that is used for predictive science, so Excel becomes, still I use Excel because it is so very important when there is a requirement of analytics, specifically when you have to manage the internal data. So you analyze the complex task, which summarizes the data with a preview of a pivot table by filtering the data as per the requirement of the business or of the clients, of your own peer group, or for your own set of analysis. I have also seen that Excel has very advanced business analytics options, which actually helps in modeling capabilities, and it pre-builds the option of automatic relationship detections. So let me ask you one quick questions to all of you, because we all are using Excel. Can anyone tell me in the chat box how many rows or column does Excel have? Use the chat box, and if you can tell me how many rows and columns we have it. You can use the chat box and write down the number of columns Excel has. It's just a GK element, or just for the understanding, nothing more on this bit. Or maybe if someone can unmute yourself and share about it. I guess 1 lakh. Okay. Nice. Okay, someone else? Okay, I see. Yes, the maximum limits which I can see is 1 lakh. So 1 lakh is actually too much. Rows are A to XFD. I like that. Thank you so much, Ashish. So in fact, what I remember is 7,600 rows and columns, but then it's very less in number, and data can't be actually come into that. So if, for an example, I have to, analyze data by using the limited row and column, my analysis will not be that very accurate, and the search will take a lot of time. So that's why we have these platforms available. Well, thank you so much. So let's move ahead and understand. There is another one called RapidMiner. Now, it is a powerful integrated data science platform, and it actually performs the predictive analysis, and it has other advanced analytics like data mining, text analytics, machine learning, visual analytics without any programming. So you can incorporate with any data source type, including Access, or Excel or Microsoft SQL. There is a Teradata, Oracle, Sybase, IBM, DB2, Ingress. There is IBM SPSS, DBase. So there are a lot of things which are available. So the tools is very powerful. Then that can actually generate analytics based on the real-time data transformation setting, and you can actually control the formats and set the data for the predictive analysis. Then we also have Kinme. So it's pronounced as Constance Information Miner. It was developed somewhere in 2004 and 5. I've like the accuracy I will not be able to give you, but somewhere in 2004, 2005. And it was done by a software engineers, and it is one of the very leading open source reporting and integrated analytical tool. And you will find that again it gets used for the data mining and machine learning via its modular data pipelining concept, right? Then there is QuickView, which has a many unique features like patented technology, and has in-memory data processing, which actually executes the results very fast to the end users. And what it does is it stores the data in the report itself. Now that's the beauty of the QuickView. So the data association is automatic, which is gets maintained, and it gets compressed to almost 10% from its original size. So that's why you will find that the data relationship visualized using tool, if we are using QuickView, there are specific colors which has been given to a related data, and another color which is non-related data. So you can actually manage your data by color coding it. Then we have Splunk. So Splunk is a tool that analyze and search the machine generated data. It pulls all the text-based, log data and provide a simple way to search through. It's a, in this user can pull it in all kind of aspect, and perform all sort of interesting statistical analysis, so which actually gives you a different set of formats. So, I mean, you can see there is Veka, there is IBM SPSS, SAP, HANA, So I can't go very deep dive in all of them, but let us try and understand which one further we can use it. But before I go ahead, you will see which are the top companies who has been using the most popular analytics tools. So these open sources, if you will see, are which has been got used by Accenture, Cognizant, Google, Facebook, Citibank, Fractal Analytics, they have been using it. Python has been used by Alibaba, Google, again the TCS, Genpact. Then we have Apache Spark, which is by User, Pinterest, Facebook, Ola, Wipro, and Netflix has been very strongly using it. We have, Strom, which is again used by Groupon, Twitter, Yahoo, Alibaba, Spotify, Flipboard. We have Pig and Hive, these are all open sources, if you will see, which is Yahoo, Facebook, Twitter, Uber, Flipkart. Then we have, if you will see, commercial, tools, which are SAS, Tableau, Excel, QuickView, and Splunk. So SaaS has been used by Citi, Google, Netflix, WNS, Genpact, Tableau again by Barclays. Mostly the banking sector I have known, and the manufacturing sector, they've been really using this Tableau because it actually gives in a very smart pictorial manner. And I still remember while doing a project with Bosch, so there's a lot of quality initiatives that we were taking, and in that we used to pictorially depict in our Gemba walk, and then this thing that we used to do a lot of insightful thing into the Tableau. And definitely Excel, which is like each one of us are using it. And then QuickView is TCS, Capgemini, Accenture, Cisco, and definitely Splunk, Coca-Cola, Cognizant, Groupon, Good Data, ING, So these are some tools the people, the great organizations have been using it. And yes, the open sources, which are, some of them are free, and you will find, a small set of organization, they are also using it, and they're getting a great benefit out of it. Then we have, the tools which are used for decision making corporates. Now, please let me make you and explain that there are operational tools which are used by something which is an input for one process and becomes an output for another. And then there is a strategical tool which works on the predictive and prescriptive element. So there are a lot of tools which gets used, and I am happy to share these tools which has been used for decision making purposes. So for the workplace planning, there is Insight. For talent acquisition, there is a resume mirror, HCM applicant tracking, talent for future. Then there is a PF tracker and leave management benefits element you can see. For the talent management, we also have HCM performance management. We have visas, that is for global immigration, MyPay has been used for the payrolls, and for the trainings, there is My Academy. Then there is a strategic tool which is eForecasters, which is actually used for a planning a long term manpower needs, that how much we need it in the near future. uh, just to give you an example here, that in this COVID time, how Amazon actually used a lot of manpower need, analyzed that, and actually hired approximately 1 lakh plus people on their board. Then there is talent acquisition, also talent management. We have Career Compass too, and definitely departure susceptibility element. So, ladies and gentlemen, to give you an insight, there are more tools which are available. Again, we have to understand it is based on your need and your requirement, right? So let's try and understand what are the advantages and disadvantages. Now, before I focus on advantages and disadvantages of these tools and analytics, we know that we have a data sourcing, and from data sourcing we go to the analysis, and the analysis actually come into the form of graph or a text. So as in the last session, I talked about what exactly is data analytics, which is nothing but a process of analyzing the data set to drive some useful conclusion or an information. Now, the data analytics actually involves various operations which is on the data sets, and or I would say in the form of table which is available in database. So the operation actually includes data extraction, data profiling, data cleansing, and data deduping, which you can see on the screen, which I have mentioned for all of you. And you can then derive a useful graph or textful information. You will find that these data analytics tools and the solutions are actually used in various industries. I would not say one industry, but I would say I think plethora of industries. In fact, now every industry has started using, whether you talk about banking, finance, insurance, telecom, aerospace, retailers, social media companies. So let me ask all of you one question. What are the various source of data? Where can we get the data from? Maybe you can use the chat box, and if you can share with me that what are the source of data? Anyone? Okay, surveys, that's nice. What else? Okay, Priyanka says through feedbacks. That's nice. That's nice. Someone else would like to share? Okay, there are the ways we can get it from interviews. Now, I would request you to think beyond from these data points, that is surveys, feedback, and interviews. Uh, Websites, that's nice. Okay. Even if you want to be wacky in your thought, I would be okay. Just try to understand and figure it out where all you can get the data from. Okay, attendance record, I can see. Yes, nice. Performance management data. Okay. Okay, so data is everywhere. I like this statement. Thank you so much, Shamal. It depends on one's capacity to capture it. Thank you so much. This is a very strong statement, and this is what actually I was looking for. So data is everywhere, and we actually generate data on a every minute basis. So right now, if number of people who have joined in this session has become a data for the Zoom, because we are doing a call on the Zoom. So they know that number of people who have joined, what are their genders, what are their backgrounds, what is their email ID, and through that we can extract a lot of data. You can see in the social media. So I have some great stats for all of you, which I have penned down. In fact, I would like to read it from my copy. It says 2.9 million email is sent on a daily basis, right? When I say, which is very surprising and very big data, there is another one. 200, 20 hours of video is getting uploaded on a per hour basis. There is a 50 million tweets happening, on an hour basis. 700 million views on your FB in a month. So this is one small stats that I have for you. And these datas, the numbers actually keep changing. So you will find that the data is actually everywhere. And to give you one insight here, so we all go for shopping, right? And let's say we go to the a shopping mall. Let's say we go to the big bazaar. So in big bazaar, I go to one particular counter, I pick up clothes, or I pick up some grocery, and then what do I do is I go to the cash counter, I pay my bill, and the bill is generated, isn't it? So there is an input, what I want, and I buy that, and I output, I get a bill. But let me tell you this, with this bill, the customers only get bill, but you'll be so surprised. There is much more information which goes into the data. Now, what are that information? What is that capturing the things happen? It is like how many people visited at that particular time, how many people are buying that particular product, what is the color preferences people are buying. You actually get the genders element, how they, when are they buying, which is the what is the amount they're spending. So you will see a small tweaking element start happening, and this is where the data actually start working on. So ladies and gentlemen, the data is everywhere, and this is the requirement of data scientists, and they actually analyze. So you get source, see these data sources, indeed what you talked about right now today, on from the website, attendance record, or performance management. You'll find data is everywhere. This is where the data gets used, whether it is from social media or data from the sensors. There are scientific data, medical records, multimedias, business transaction. There are web data. So data is everywhere. And how to manage that data, that's why we have a big data element. So we'll talk about big data in our next session. We'll so focus here on this. So you will find that the process, as mentioned, says here is very simply uh, that we have a data source. From data source, we analyze the data by extracting of data, by profiling it, by cleansing it and deduping it, and then we pictorially reflect it, or by texting it. So let's try and understand on the data analytics advantages and disadvantages. So if you will see, it detects and correct the error from data sets. Actually, it helps of the data cleansing. So this helps in improving the quality of data, and consecutively benefits both customers and institutions such as banks, insurance, finance companies, and so on. It removes duplication, ladies and gentlemen. So it decreases the cost of the company, definitely. It helps in displaying relevant advertisement on the online shopping website when you see, which is based on the historical data. And it also helps in identifying the purchase behavior pattern of the users. So in this, you will find that the machine learning algorithms, which gets applied for the same purpose. And that's why you will find it helps in increasing the revenue, and the productivity of the companies. Also, it reduces the risk if we talk about specifically in the bank. And for example, the what kind of fraudulence which happens, you can actually stop that. And it is used by the various security agents for the surveillance and for the monitoring purpose too. So the main crux here is that it detects and correct the errors and removes the deduplication and actually display the correct set of information. Now, when we talk about the disadvantages, so you will see that this may breach privacy of the customer's information. It could be information like the purchase, online transaction. It could be a subscriptions which are visible to the organization. The companies may exchange these useful information, these customer database for the own benefits. So you will find these information gets passed on from X company to the Y company, and sometimes they actually use that particular platform. Then there is a cost of data analytics tool, which vary based on the applications and the feature which gets supported. And then there is an information which gets obtained, which is used for data analytics, can be misused, ladies and gentlemen. And there are community who actually do that. And it is very difficult sometimes to select the right data analytics. So this is why you will find, you need data scientists who actually knows how to work on it. Now, this could be due to the fact that it requires knowledge of the tools and the accuracy in analyzing it. And what, as per my experience and observation, is people with the less of information actually, or lack of knowledge, not able to come up with the right set of picture. So if trust me, if you actually don't analyze the correct data, you can actually end up interpreting the wrong set of data. So we have to really take care of it, and that actually increases the time and the cost for the company. So with this, let me try and give you an insight on the tools which are very much used by the various, organizations. So the one which is very close to me and one which I have felt comfortable, I am highlighting this here for all of you. My suggestion is that you please use as per your own comfort and as per your own liking. These tools are actually can be taught by our team members. So these are a certification courses with these are paid version, and but there are free tutorials which are also available, and you can actually get a hang on it how to use these particular tools. So let us try and understand the tool one, which is R. I have given you a downloadable link also here. So, or else you can just put it into the Google very simply and write down the download R. It can be, downloaded into your Mac, or, in your day-to-day laptop, what you've been using it. So let's try and understand. So this is basically, if you will see, is the most used analytical tool, and trust me, most used HR analytical tool. As we are focusing on the HR analytics, it is a great statistical analysis and visualization tool. So if you can see on my screen, I have actually given you the bell curve, the histogram element with the scattered approach of correlation element, and the descriptive approach of observation with the mean, median, and the standard deviation statistics actually comes up here. So you literally need to know how to read these kind of graphs, and you can see this is a normal distribution graph, and data is very smartly spread. And if you are a Six Sigma expert, you can see it's a data is very well normalized. So you will see it actually enables you to analyze and cleanse the data. That's the beauty of it, with the millions of rows of the data. So you can visualize your data, also analyze it as the way you want. So the most often used here, it is integrated development environment, which we call it is IDE. This is we use for R, which is RStudio. And in IDE, it's nothing but a software that provides additional facilities for software development and data analysis. This makes the software actually more user friendly. To simply put, RStudio does everything than R does, but more and much better manner. So you can use this, and we know that the importance of data visualization in data science is not hidden from anyone. So right from visualizing your raw data from the perspective of data analysts to showcasing the results could be done by the data visualization tool. So we all know that in the past we had Microsoft PowerPoint, other data of visualization software like there's a quick view, Tableau, to build the reports or for that matter stories. So you will find a lot of storytelling component happens by using such set of tools, and make it very impactful for the business people. Then in this we also have you can see in this particular example how R actually gets used extensively. It's a library with the R package. So these packages are very easy to install, and you can allow to run virtually all statistical analysis. And then what you can do is you can actually create a beautiful visualization. So my suggestion would be, you can again get a hang on it, get a certification on it, and get a you use it for your betterment. So you will find on your left of this on the pictorial, that how the distribution of employee turnover for a company as seen in this chart is done through a ggplot. So I have removed, this is done by one of our clients, and I'm giving you a small snippet that how it actually tells you that how many layoffs were done and how many resignations were there and how many retirements were there. So this actually helps you to analyze furthermore. Then we have Python. Now Python, again, you can go to this python.org and you can actually download for yourself. And I'm giving you a basic layout that how actually it looks like and how the putting of the data comes into it. So again, it's an open source which you see, and it's a very high level of programming language that often used by the technical analyst and data scientists. So what I do is I have my team who are into the technical analysis, and they actually develop for us. So, and I act as a data scientist where I interpret and analyze the data. So it is like more worldwide developers are using it than a Java, which has more than 2 lakhs available packages. So Python can handle many different analysis, and it can analyze on its own, and it can integrate with the third party packages also. Now that's the beautiful thing. So this thing then can further will help you to for the machine learning or for the data visualization. So there are various popular data visualization package which I talked about, which can actually be synced with and integrate with it. It could be Matplotlib is there. Then there is a Plotly is there. There is also Seaborn, which can be actually used for programming interface and for other analytics systems. Then you will find Python is actually, as I mentioned, it is nothing but another programming language. So again, it is better to figure it out which one do you feel better to use and which one you want to further enhance your knowledge on. Actually, R is better in doing statistical analysis, and that's why I prefer R and I prefer SPSS, which I'm going to talk in some time. And basically it works with a statistical element, and it is better used for the visualization approach also. Whereas Python, however, it offers only slightly less functionalities, but it is easier to learn. So that is how you have to figure it out. So if you will see, I have mentioned and given you the element of how we can actually use this Python versus R predictive modeling. So if you're working on the feature of model building, then both are similar. So you can use either Python or R. But if you're using for interdependability, then R would be the most preferred one. And if you're looking for the production that is, relating to giving the insight, so then Python would be the app for you. For the community support, definitely R, and having a libraries, both are similar. So you can use either one of them. But when you talk about visualization element, then my suggestion would be R. And in fact, the difference also talks about it. And there is a great set of learning curves with the Python. So because it's much easier to learn. So based on this, you can actually use either one of them. So let's try and understand the next one, which is very close to me, is your Excel. Right now, Excel gets used by everyone, and it's like you will find it. Not only I am using it, but you are also using it. And here you, what you do is you actually extract the data from your various system. And if you're talking about HR analytics, then you actually pull out the data from your HR system. So, we in this, we should not forget about the basic Excel. That's what my learning is. I think we all should know the basic of Excel. We know that it is most likely come out of the form of a common separated value, which we call it CSV file. So these files can easily be opened and edited using by Excel. The good thing about Excel is that it is very intuitive, and to most of us HR data geeks, and therefore very it becomes easier for all the HR professional to use it. Now for an example, if you want to check how clean your data, and you can quickly transform the data set into the table and check each column data range for outliers. And this way you will select the various options by using the filter. Maybe it could be on the age column aspect, or with the minimum and maximum age. You wouldn't expect anyone, let's say if you want to see below 60, below 16, if anyone age is there, you can actually remove it. That becomes an outlier, and so on. So accordingly, if you will see, I have given it into the pictorial form here, that how to sort and how to search and put the things into the great element. So indeed there are some quick tips what we do in the HR analytics before I talk about the power of BI, which is the tool 4. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Excel, if you want to run your advanced analysis, you can actually join our course. We have a very detailed course into the HR related, plus we have a very detailed course for the Excel. So we have a basic and advanced, and you should know what formula to apply. When you calculate a let's say a column using an Excel formula, it actually transforms the outcome to a numeric value. Now formulas recalculate every time you make a change in the data set. So this places a significant and unnecessary burden on your computer's memory and processing speed, and it bogs down the Excel. So you will find that we actually merge the data by using a VLOOKUP function, which is the best friend, which we have been using it. So pivot tables, do a great job in summarizing your large quantity of data. So you should actually use it and identify. And I have seen that HR analytics people, they use VLOOKUP very strongly, and that gets analysis gets demonstrated in the pivot table. So keep learning. If you find the analytics at an initial stage at your career, you can use it in a very nice manner. Okay, so let's talk about the tool 4, which is Power BI. Microsoft Power BI is a top business intelligence platform, ladies and gentlemen. This supports the dozen of data source. It allows the every user to create and share reports. and it also visualization also happens, and it creates a dashboard. That's the beautiful thing in this. So I still remember when we were implementing SAP in Honeywell. So it was a project in Gurgaon and Malaysia, and you'll be surprised that the execution actually took place in 1 year with the flawless element. And we strongly recommended and used dashboard during that project execution. So what you see, users can combine, a group of dashboard and report into a Power BI app for a simple distribution. So Power BI also allows user to build automated machine learning, and it integrate with Azure machine learning. So there are certain words which I'm using are technical in nature, but once you will start doing such set of courses as per your requirement, you will find it will become much easier to understand. Okay. Then we have Tableau. This course, you can do it from Coursera. I did it from Coursera in it's a very great platform. It's a MOOC platform, and it is very similar to Power BI. Again, it's a data visualization, and how you can see the data right now. I'm showcasing on the screen for all of you. And in this platform, the users are allowed to create the reports and share across the desktop and mobile platforms within a browser or any embedded application if you have. So it can run on the cloud, it can run on premises, and you will find, it actually translates drag and drop dashboard, and put a very efficient backend queries. It actually minimizes the need for the end user performance optimization. So but let me tell you here some very important insight is Tableau lacks support for advanced SQL queries. So that's how you have to see your key element in your organization or in your own current role. Okay, so this is what the Tableau looks, and specifically I'm used a picture for the HR element here. Okay, we have Quick again. It is very similar to Razor. Again, it's a beautifully used, again, creates a dashboard of visual element. So again, you can download it for your own purpose and use it. So if you'll ask me personally, I use Tableau much often than Quick, but again, a key requirement. Only learning I can share here is, if you want to become a master of anyone, then that shall be great. And I have mastered SPSS, which is the next one I'm going to focus here. So during my, in fact, although as I mentioned in the starting that I have a quality background also, so Minitab is another tool which has been used very strongly by me when I was working with ICICI Bank. And Minitab is again an analysis tool, statistical element of analyzing the data. And there you will find again we were actually executing a lot of Six Sigma projects, and there I was using Minitab. But during my PhD time, I started using SPSS, and I found SPSS much more user friendly, and I could see the learning was very fast. So again, as I say, the tools are, there are a lot of tools. Just pick up that tool which you really feel comfortable with. This is what my learning is with all of you. So SPSS is a commonly tool which gets used in the HR, and it is why? Because it works on the social science. So it's a user-friendly interface, and it helps you to analyze data without having extensive statistical knowledge. Now that's the beauty of this particular tool. So you literally, you don't need to know when to use ANOVA or MANOVA, and how to use structure, why we are using structured equation modeling, and when to use it. So but definitely if you have that knowledge, that will be always an added advantage. But as it gives you an interpretation, and it helps you out to describe it very efficiently. So as it's a it runs a descriptive statistics, so that's why you will find the HR professional use it very strongly. um, you know why put SPSS on the list? You will find that there is another biggest competitor of them is SAS. Now SAS has more user outside of the social science field. Now that's why if you don't have a social science element, then you use SAS. But if you have a social science element, then use SPSS. And in fact, for that matter, you can use your Excel also. So, in the SPSS, it is actually a very easy stepping stone for the companies, because with less mature analytical capabilities, you can use it very comfortably. In this, you represent the data, so the descriptive statistics gets used very easily, and you can calculate the central tendency, mean, median, mode, which can actually use for the predictive element. So this works, as we know, the social science works on the hypothesis element. So there is a null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is a statistical hypothesis that is tested for possible rejection under the assumption that it is true. And the purpose of the most statistical test is to determine if the obtained results provide a reason to conclude whether or not the differences are the results of a random chance. So rejection of null hypothesis leads to an alternative hypothesis, which we call it as H1. To reject null hypothesis, data must meet the significance level, which we call it alpha level of 0.05. I'm sorry, I'm being a bit technical here, but just to give you an insight, this is how we do it into the SPSS element, right? So you will see the dispersion measurement, the correlation measurement, or the representation of data actually takes place in this. We have an inferential analytics also, which gets used. I'll not go very deep dive into it, but then you will find that the people are using with the various types of samples. They inferences the statistical element by understanding the confidence interval, and they test the hypothesis. So there are, you will find a lot of regression people are using, factor analysis they're using the cluster analysis based on their requirement. Okay, so with this, let's try and understand the other element here for all of you, which is I'll not go focus very much into it. Yes, correlation and regression, which, how it gets used into the SPSS. And I've just given an insight how we can use it, So a lot of people use multiple regression, and it estimates actually the coefficient of the linear equation, which involves more than one independent variable. So, it's you can actually predict, for an example, user can predict a salesperson's total annual sales, that is a dependent variable based on the independent variable, which could be such as education or an age or an experience. So based on this, you can use your multiple regression or a regression element. Okay, so let's try and understand what are the HR analytics careers, right? Trust me, I was going through one article yesterday in Harvard Business Review, and I could actually see that analysis is something which is key in future. And there is you will find that HR analytics task and competencies are really key, and we really need to figure it out how to become an HR analyst. People need to know what are the differences between HR analyst and business partners. There is a lot of query which do comes up into the what is the usual salary, what are the career paths, what are the job description, and how the job description templates looks like. So there are a lot of things the people are actually considering this as a profession. But only thing that I can say here is that HR analyst, there are certain set of tasks and competencies which people are looking at. So one of them is business acumen. So business acumen is becoming actually increasingly important for the HR roles. So it's It's actually they want to see how well you analyze the data. You need to know what project you will work on, how the data analysis will impact your business. You actually need to involve the simple data analysis into an end-to-end analysis project. So this is what gets into it. The second element is your communication and consultation. Now the second skill what I have seen is that your communication skills, and especially how much time you spend on analyzing the data and how well you communicate by understanding the stakeholders expectation, and what do they want, are you able to provide it. So that becomes your another approach of your communication and consultation. Definitely your relationship, that's very important, because you are managing the relationship between the peers, self, and the stakeholders. So you need to involve the business because you're executing a project, and keep them up to date into the progress and potential setbacks which you get. Definitely HR expertise, whenever you are more on the business partner side, so here the crunching of numbers every single day happens, and this is where the essential skill which is required by HR expertise. So you have to have that hat in yourself. Then definitely a data analysis, you should know how to analyze the data. It's like, how do you report it, how do you quantify it, how do you make it into quality basis, and finally how you analyze it. And definitely we have other element of your HR system and implementation, that we call also into the HRIS, that is Human Resource Information System. So how it works, how you maintain, how you implement, that can only work with a set of expertise if you have on it. And the most crucial one is your global and cultural awareness, which is, you know, uh, I mean, for me, one of the word which I use is global, that is globally becoming local. So as an analyst, you work with the global data, and the global and the cultural awareness is essential to understand where data is coming from and how cultural differences impact HR and data capturing practices. So this is on the global platform if you go into that approach. Okay, so yes, how you can become an HR analyst. There is no one way that you can become an HR analytics. Definitely, you need to have a different, perspective to be given. You have to have a basic background. One is definitely onto the industrial and organizational psychology, and you will find that if you have a statistical knowledge, then you're actually wearing a various different hats, and you need to have a, I don't say a work experience, but definitely an experience, whether as a project executor or whether into the, during your college time you were doing some set of internship that actually helps you out. So you need to keep working with the data, and please get emphasize and work on any of the tools which has been shared with you right now. It could be your Tableau, Clicker, Power BI, SAS, HANA. So these are all approaches, tools which needs to be used by HR professionals. And definitely HR, Excel is one. So even if you don't use the tool, please use the Excel very efficiently. There is a huge difference between HR analyst and HR business partners, right? So if you will see, the when we talk about the business partners, their job is basically to primarily focus on the collection of the data, analyzing the data, and finally reporting the data. So this, you will see the competency of using your communication with your people, with your peer, becomes very important. And when we talk about data analyst, it is how well you use the tools and how you play around with the data and how you actually demonstrate it to your business. There are various descriptions. I have used it, one from the organization's limit, so they actually use and make it very catchy for the people. They want the having a very excellent Excel knowledge. They should know how to work on the SPSS or Stata or Python, or they also ask for the basic reporting element and on the HR analytics fronts. So this is how you will find the business partners job description gets into the place what people are looking at. In the last session we talked about how the analytics actually grew. So even in today's time, the how BI, that is business intelligence and analytics, actually growing. So there is a decision support system which actually began from 1960 onwards, and you will find that this has been used in very strongly from early 1900 to today's scenario, that from how integrated ERP, we move to the predictive customer behavior and move towards the predictive talent model. Each has a very important role, and my suggestion would be is that you use it very strongly for your purpose. So analyze it, which one you are good at, and keep emphasizing and work on it. And the stages of analytics actually goes from reporting of the data, that what exactly happened, and then you analyze that data, that why did it happen. So from what you move towards why, and from why what can happen, so it becomes a predictive analysis. So that's how on the x-axis you have complexity element, and on the y-axis you have business value. So business value proposition actually works on the predictive analysis, and you will see that a lot of analysis currently going on during the COVID-19 times, and how people have started using the artificial intelligence approach by using and understanding the data. And as I said in the starting, the data is everywhere. Even today, right now, at this particular hour in the afternoon, so much of data has got accumulated by the best of the organization that they have started interpreting and analyzing accordingly to it. So organization, it is the ask of the business which you need to understand what are their asks, what is it that they're looking at, and how then you need to provide it by using the analytics and by using the various tools. As we are coming to the close of this today's session, so at last topic of the day on the analytics domain, we can do it retail sales analytics, financial services analytics, risk and credit analytics, the web analytics, pricing analytics, consumer behavior, marketing, fraud analytics, supply chain, talent HR analytics, collection, telecom. It's a plethora of domain. If you will see, it's not just one particular segment. It is, you can start going deep diving into all of them. We have with us in our organization, the experts into the retail sales and the talent and HR analytics and the marketing analytics. But when I was working with ICICI Bank, the financial services analytics, so we used to get a lot of dashboards, and from that dashboard we used to analyze that what it is going to work into the retail segment, what is going to work into the corporate segment, what kind of customers are actually buying which kind of third-party products. So nowadays a lot of analytics is going on. If you will see, I'm just using the word on the financial service analytics, and I just asked one of my fellow colleagues from the my ex-bank. So they said that nowadays a lot of term insurance has started selling in, and a lot of people are buying life insurance. So, and health insurance has become very, very prominent. And then they actually analyzed it into the various financial services segment, that from the youngest age, the moment the child is born, the people have started buying the health insurance. So look at how analytics has started using, and people have actually started capturing, and new business model has been generated, and they're actually giving a lot of profitability to the organization. So keep using such set of analytics. We use various different metric types, whether it is on a rate front or a ratio, composition, cost, time, index, satisfaction element. So these things actually helps you to know the proportion, the performance of the people, and the various weighted which we can actually combine with the data. So you can actually break down the various parts into a small chunks and actually use it. Just to tell you, we are going to close it in with this important slide, the common mistake that we really need to avoid: keeping a metric live even when it is has no clear business reason for a being. uh, Ladies and gentlemen, I know that we all are working professionals and we work with the data. Kindly do not keep your data into the live metric if you're not using it. It really, it makes the data very claustrophobic, and your tools becomes heavy. uh, Sometimes we rely on a very few matrix to evaluate the performance. It could be on the employee performance, or the smart employee game system. Kindly don't do it. Elaborate your data, elaborate the analysis, and see the different side of the coin. Sometimes we insist on 100% accurate data before the analysis is accepted. Please, before deciding anything, understand that yes, how accurate the data was, and work on that. Assessing employees only on a simple measure such as grades, test scores, and it fails accurately. Kindly do not work on such element. Again, as I said, have a bigger picture and understand what is the ask from your business, right? And using analytics to a higher lower level, but not assessing the senior management. Kindly do not do this mistakes into the HR element front, because you are HR professionals, so this aspect becomes very important. And analyzing HR efficiency metrics only is no. I don't say that don't consider that, I say do consider it, but then uh, give see other data aspect to check the business performance. So you have to tweak it, you have to understand the various platform to it. So with this note, we will close the session today. If you have now any query or any question, please feel free to ask. That's my credential. Again, you can reach out to me on my mobile, or as I've mentioned, you can touch base with me on any of the social media platform. And my email ID is already given on the chat box. It's anubhavali@gmail.com. It's easier to remember. And let's open the forum for any query or any question if you have. Okay, so I see for the ISTD diploma contact classes, please give the feedback. I request all of you to do that, and also request you to, follow the YouTube channel, because all this insight would be there on the YouTube of ISTD. Yes, if you have any query and question, please feel free to ask. We will be having a session on HR metrics, definitely, sir, because we are going step by step. We straight away, I can't jump into the HR metrics, but in the next session, you must have got all the, schedule of 9 session. In one of the sessions, we have HR metrics. So HR metrics is a very big one. I am going to bifurcate into the various platform. It could be on the PMS, training and development, and so on. So we'll look forward. Thank you so much, Ashish. Amazing contact class. Okay, thank you so much for this appreciation. Thank you so much. I think I see no query and question. So as I mentioned, you can reach out to me on my personal window, or in fact through ISTD. And thank you so very much. It was really pleasure connecting with all of you. And we meet again next week. Namaste. Thank you so very much.